What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp. Today we're going to be reviewing the iPhone 8 after my 1 week use of it. Now a quick disclaimer before we begin, I've been using the 6 as my full-time phone for the past 3 years now since it released, pretty much because I didn't feel the upgrade was necessary from the 7 or anything like that. So in this review I'll tell you guys all about my experience with this, whether it is worth the upgrade or not, the pros and cons, in case you're thinking of picking up the new iPhone. So starting off at first glance, it looks relatively the same as the previous iPhone 7 and the 6, but we have a few construction changes this time around. You now have this full glass body on the front and the back, which I think gives it a much more premium look. That's gonna mean two things. One, be careful, because with it being all glass, I fear dropping this thing on the bathroom floor would absolutely shatter it. Side note, I've heard people say that the glass body is kind of slippery to hold, but to me, I think it's more grippy in the hands compared to the aluminum body on the iPhone 7 because just the natural friction of glass against skin. Maybe it's just me. And the second thing is, it is a fingerprint magnet. The second I took off the protective film that it came in, it collected fingerprints and oils all along the glass back, as you can see. And I would highly recommend picking up a D brand skin. I've got the nice black dragon skin on this unit here that looks just killer. And it's gonna prevent all those smudges along it. I'll drop a link in the description for you guys, but I mean, come on, how could you not like that? The 8 boasts a 750 by 1334p display at 4.7 inches, which is still the same as last year. I think it looks great though. It's LED backlit, it looks nice with bright colors and a wide color gamut, and a great pixel density. People are still gonna complain, yes, that they wanna see a higher res display now, but honestly, for this size, the screen looks more than fine to me, even up close. And with iOS 11, you get True Tone built in, which is going to adapt the display to the ambient lighting around you. Pretty much what this does is it changes the brightness depending on where you are, even the color temperature of the display. It's going to change from a white to a warmer tone. Again, it's just a software feature, but it does help improve the consistency of what you're looking at on the screen if you're going from inside to outside, dark to light, etc. But personally, I think the phone looks great. The design all flows as one piece in unison in the space gray color. I think it's the best looking iPhone yet. And with that glass back, we now have wireless charging as a new feature, yes, in 2017, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. And other quick notes, the 8 is still IP67 dust and water resistant, has that great haptic engine feedback, which I love with the 3D touch, and it's actually less than a ½ ounce heavier than last year, but it's not noticeable in the hands at all. But let's move on to performance, and the 8 features the new Apple A11 Bionic chipset, and this hexa-core CPU is a big upgrade from the quad-core A10 chip from last year. It's just so snappy, fast, and smooth, and that's helped out by the 2 gigs of RAM, and the iPhone 8 is actually essentially getting the same performance as the more expensive 8 Plus and the upcoming iPhone 10, which is nearly twice the price. Just the difference here is that 1 gig less of RAM, but Apple claims the A11 chipset is 25% faster at top speed, and graphics performance is also 30% faster than last year. So geekbenching this A11 Bionic chip, I got a CPU benchmark of 4169 single core score, and a whopping 10,201 multi-core score. That's gonna back up what I mentioned with it being a solid performance and a damn impressive performance to cost value compared to the 8 Plus and the 10. And you know, I'm someone who doesn't really play a lot of games or anything intensive. I'm mostly just using my phone for social media, YouTube, stuff like that with the channel. But everything just loads up in milliseconds. It is insanely quick. Even the fingerprint scanner here has me on the home screen in the blink of an eye. I mean, I know that's really helped out by their technology in the scanner itself, but still, that A11 chip is crazy and you can really feel the performance upgrade. And it's gonna handle AR gaming like cake. But more on that in the end. I'm just so impressed at how much of a big upgrade this feels from my iPhone 6. So this year we actually have an 1821 mAh battery versus last year's 1960 mAh. But I mean, it's pretty much the same performance wise. You're not gonna notice a difference at all. And for me, I found that it still did last a full day and even a little bit into the next, which was really nice. But like I said, with that new glass back, that's gonna allow now for wireless charging. And out of the box, quick charging isn't possible. You need like the Apple Power Brick or whatever. I'm not too worried about it. I'm fine with the new feature even being included this year, even though it's like 3 years too late, whatever. But hey, you can charge it now wirelessly if you want to. Now let's chat about the camera, and it's again essentially the same as last year with a few improvements. At f1.8, the 12 megapixel camera has improved image processing with the new A11 chip for better noise reduction and focusing, and it can now record 60 frames at 4K and 240 frames per second at 1080p, which the iPhone 7 did not feature. Now obviously the more impressive stuff is held for only the Plus models and the 10, but I think color accuracy was spot on. I felt pictures were very natural looking, you know, it wasn't overly saturated. Definitely a solid looking camera. as for video, it looks fantastic, I think. This is downscaled from 4K, nothing to complain about whatsoever. And with that new 240 FPS footage, it is smooth, but you can tell there's definitely a lot of compression going on here. It's not the cleanest looking image I've seen, but I mean, 240 is still something that a lot of other cameras can't manage. So the fact you have that now, if you want to use it, is cool if you ever need to utilize something like that. I'm sure it's going to look more than fine for most people. So now for the good stuff, my overall thoughts and feedback on the iPhone 8. And over the first few days when I first got it in, I was relatively unimpressed. It just felt like another phone to me. But the more I started to use it, the more I began to really like it. So much so that I actually had to change my script significantly from when I first started writing this to what you're hearing and seeing now with this review. It is a huge upgrade from my iPhone 6, and it is all greatly helped out from the Apple A11 Bionic chipset here. It makes everything just a breeze. It's so buttery smooth, the transitions, loading up apps, it is all done instantly. And that chip itself, I think, is worth the upgrade, because while the phone itself has a few new features, yes, it's really something of how quick and fast this phone is, and I really like that. Even for my mild use, like I said, social media, watching videos, it handles everything so easily, it's not even funny. But where that A11 chipset really begins to show its power is with the multi-cores and things for like gaming and AR gaming, which is insanely cool. And while AR gaming isn't anything brand new, we've seen it in the past with stuff like Pokemon Go, it's taken to a whole new level this year, and the A11 chipset kills it. Even something simple like playing Stack is even cool, where I can just, throw it on my desk and start playing. I can walk around and view it real time from different angles, and the phone doesn't even warm up at all. It's just really something different that shows off the power of this phone. And playing a game like Nightfall is where I was truly blown away. Sorry, the footage here might look a little low res, but Nightfall and AR together just shows the future of mobile gaming, I think. Where here, you're playing this simple tower defense game, and it's really just like there in my room now, and I can get up, real close, look at the people, zoom in on them, and walk around, and it's all just being computed real time with no hiccups. I was extremely impressed, and meanwhile, my iPhone 6 has trouble loading up my Twitter feed properly if I haven't checked it in a few hours. But word of the day is butter. It is all just buttery smooth, and it is something really cool. And this was just for fun here, this little AR dragon pet game. It was like, my corgi knew I had another pet, then my virtual pet knew I had a real pet. They was like fighting for my attention. I don't know, I thought it was funny. These are all just a few examples of what is possible, I think, with AR and gaming going forward. And now for the most important part, should you upgrade? And if you're like me and you have the iPhone 6 or any phone from around that time, then yes, I do think you should definitely. But if you have the iPhone 7 or a phone from like the last year or so, I don't think it's worth the upgrade, because other than the minor improvements to the camera here and wireless charging, the all glass body, most of the changes are gonna come with iOS 11, in which case you probably now have on your iPhone 7. So I don't think it's worth it in that case. I still think it is a great phone. But the thing I'm dealing with now is, do I buy this or do I hold off and chance it with the Apple iPhone 10 coming out? Because that is a big upgrade, new screen, it's OLED, higher resolution. It looks awesome, but the kind of issue that they're dealing with now is they're having problems fulfilling stock, and they're also having problems with that new 3D scanner for the face detection, which kind of is going to pose a problem because I like the fingerprint scanner here. It's insanely fast and fluid. You saw I was logged in less than a millisecond when I put my finger on it. I like that added security. I don't want to, have to deal with all the face recognition at nighttime or whatever. So that's going to be an issue. So you're gonna have to decide, do you want this 8 now if you have an older phone, or do you want a chance picking up the more expensive iPhone 10? But real quick, we're gonna wrap this up with some cons, and I mentioned it in the beginning, but with this glass body, it just makes it a smudge magnet front and back, which is why I highly recommend picking up a skin for it. Again, D-brand with that clutch Black Dragon skin on here, but skin up, case up, because if you get a good drop on this thing in your bathroom floor or something, it might completely shatter. And actually make sure you're subscribed, because I'll be doing a drop test very soon. So guys, that'll wrap it up for my review of the iPhone 8. I think it is worth the upgrade, but it's all gonna depend on what phone you have right now and what your thoughts are on the iPhone 10 if you're gonna pick that up. But if you're someone like me, I think it is worth it. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And lastly, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Well, I'm Random Frank P. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.